record. Okay.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for attending our informational session about SourceLink Nebraska. We're very excited. In just a matter of days, we will be launching on November 16th. This is a project we've had in the works for about 17 months now. I started back in July of 2020 to begin building our SourceLink Nebraska network, and Jamie joined us in December of 2020. So I am the SourceLink Nebraska network builder, and my role is to help build our network and manage the operations between the SourceLink Nebraska program.
And I'm Jamie Bright. I am the network navigator, and my job is to help entrepreneurs find the right resource at the right time.
A few years back, I was looking into buying a business myself, and I found the process quite confusing. I had a business that I was talking to some business owners. They were looking to sell, and I was very interested in it. And to make a long story short, I did not have the connections I needed and the people to talk to navigate that process. I do believe I was connected maybe to not the appropriate person for that time, and it ended up discouraging me from go ahead and buying that business, or so I thought when I started this project, I sat down and I wanted to know what it was like for an entrepreneur to look for all the great resources we have in Nebraska. And I did what most would do. I started to Google, and a lot of resources popped up, but I soon realized, where would I go first if I was an entrepreneur? SourceLink Nebraska is going to help fill that need. One, create the infrastructure and create a one-stop place for entrepreneurs and business owners to find the right resource at the right time. I do believe with this new project, with this platform, it is an opportunity for our state to catch up with surrounding states. Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, and Wisconsin are some examples of surrounding states in the Midwest that have utilized the SourceLink platform for years. And I do believe Nebraska is at a somewhat disadvantage, especially if we're looking at bringing businesses to Nebraska. People from out of state right now could go to Kansas, their platform, or Iowa's or Missouri's to begin learning about their ecosystem and what resources are out there. So come November 16th, we're hoping to fill that need where the resources are more accessible and visible to all Nebraskans. And then Jamie, she has a neat story too. She has a little bit of different background than I do. She was a business owner, so she's going to talk a little bit about her experience.
As Scott said, I was a business owner. I owned a bookstore and coffee shop in the village of Bushnell, Nebraska, with about 120 people, and I owned that for 5 years. I really wish SourceLink had been available at that time. My parents both had a little bit of business background, so I used their expertise, but I really didn't build up connections to the entrepreneurial ecosystem until after I started my business, and things would have gone a lot more smoothly if I had been able to access some of those resources sooner. So that's my goal in this position, is to try to help other entrepreneurs, especially in our rural areas, access some of those resources more efficiently, and just to know that they can use some of the resources in Lincoln and Omaha. They don't have to be ones in Scottsbluff or North Platte or closer to where they are physically located.
Thank you, Jamie. So today we want to give you an overview of what is SourceLink Nebraska, and then Jamie is going to give you a tour of our website that will be available come November 16th, so we can share the information with you and then put a visual behind it today. So go ahead and go to the next slide, Jamie.
Okay.
So what is SourceLink Nebraska? It's essentially a one-stop shop of resources for entrepreneurs and business owners to start, scale, or accelerate their business. The resources that we've included on our platform are nonprofit, government, and educational organizations, primarily. There are some situations that we have added some for-profit, maybe some venture capital, co-working spaces, but for the most part, when we talk about the resources that are available on SourceLink Nebraska, it'll be the nonprofit, government, education resources. Next slide, please, Jamie. Our goal with SourceLink Nebraska is not to replace any of the tasks that our resource partners do. We simply want to be that connector. We want to be that connecting point to help entrepreneurs know where to go and find the right resource at the right time. With our website, it'll be that central repository of the resources available. We've identified and mapped over 500 different organizations in the state of Nebraska that provide some sort of support to entrepreneurs or business owners. We are eclipsing the 890 different resource profiles, so all across the state of Nebraska, for entrepreneurs to look for resources that they need. Anything from business planning, maybe help with marketing, maybe for government contracting, you name it. Connecting with our chambers, our local economic development organizations. It's all there and it's all mapped. Next slide, please. When we think about SourceLink Nebraska, we have 3 objectives that we want to achieve with this new platform. Creating core infrastructure, improving the transparency of resources, and increasing the accessibility of these resources across the state. With the core infrastructure, we wanted to create that one-stop place for an entrepreneur to go. As I mentioned earlier, when I started out this project, it was very difficult to navigate the ecosystem. We want to put it in one place, maybe that town square of business development in Nebraska. We went ahead and we made sure that we did the resource mapping. We wanted to locate where these resources are all across Nebraska. And I will tell you, if Jamie and I were in the beginning, if somebody were to ask us, hey, how many resources do you think are in Nebraska? I don't think we would even guess half of what we've discovered, and it's growing every day. We're going to be able to identify gaps in resource delivery, so we can work with our resource partners and identify resources that may be needed in particular areas of the state, maybe particular areas of maybe the Omaha and Lincoln metro area, but also we're going to be able to identify overlap. What can we do to help partnerships and create that wraparound services, those wraparound services for entrepreneurs and business owners? With this platform, we are going to be able to collect data. We have quite a few data reports that we can run. Initially, we're going to be looking at the first year in particular, the awareness piece. How many people are visiting the website? Who's visiting the profiles? What kind of resources are people looking for? So we can provide that data to all our resource partners across the state as they think about their programs and how they deliver services. But also with this core infrastructure, it does help with partner collaboration. Maybe there's a resource partner in Western Nebraska that would like to reach out to a resource partner that's in the eastern part of the state to assist somebody. That way the whole state is connected and everybody's resources are not so siloed into one area. We can all work together. And what Jamie and I have discovered, there are many resource partners across the state that are willing to help anyone regardless of where they live in the state. We also want to increase the transparency of these resources. What is out there? By having it in one spot, searching on our website and the resource navigator that Jamie will show us towards the end of our presentation today, people are going to be able to see what we do have, and it's available right at your fingertips on our platform. Also, we do have an events calendar that's going to be available that we will be populating with events that are occurring all across the state of Nebraska. Our resource partners can submit events on SourceLinkNebraska.com, and we can approve them and make them visible to everybody. I guess one positive thing that came out of the COVID experience is there's been a lot of events that are delivered virtually, much like what we're doing today. So anybody in the eastern part of the state could maybe attend events in the western part of the state or vice versa. That way we can really strengthen the knowledge base within the entire state. Another great aspect, because of the transparency of the resources, when economic developers, there's turnover. Being able to get on SourceLink Nebraska and see what types of resources are in their area, who are those contacts, and beginning the networking process, maybe helping to accelerate that onboarding process. Also, we want to increase accessibility. SourceLink Nebraska is web-based. There isn't a front door, there isn't a registration. You simply go to sourcelinknebraska.com and you begin using the information that's available. It's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. As many of you know, a lot of entrepreneurs start in their mid to late 30s, and at that time in your life, you are working. So being able to have time to sit down and begin looking at the resources that are available and who to contact, just making it easy and accessible. Another aspect to our platform, it can be translated into multiple languages as well. Anything from Spanish to, we had somebody have us translated into Romanian one week. So it was really neat that based on your needs, you can have it translated into the language that's needed, and it does help break down some of those barriers. Everything on there is on demand. You know, if you're looking for a resource, because it's available all the time, you're able to get to it when you need. And it is a no-cost option. This doesn't cost anything for anybody to use it. So this is an excellent resource for entrepreneurs starting out and not having to spend that extra money to find the resources that they need. Next slide, please. The core components of SourceLink Nebraska, we've identified 4 areas. And I have been talking about the resources and the resource partners. And the tool that's used on SourceLink Nebraska is called the Resource Navigator. Since we made this presentation, we have increased the number of resources available to 890 and over 500 organizations. And Jamie's going to show you at the end of this how to use that Resource Navigator and begin looking for those resources. Also, there will be that events calendar that I mentioned, and we'll show you that. We already have the events calendar populated with a lot of events between November and December, but as we move on, we want to increase working with our resource partners so they can submit events as well. One aspect that we did add to our platform that we do feel is very important is adding a personal aspect to it, particularly because it is virtual. Stories are so important. It's important for entrepreneurs and business owners, but it's also important for our resource partners. So we will have spotlight stories for business owners and entrepreneurs, but also our resource partners. So it goes above and beyond not only what their profile says and the services they deliver, but maybe some successes that they've had and what they're about. So entrepreneurs can begin to understand and learn about the supports that are in their communities. Also, that we have available are business guides. Now, these business guides are designed to help entrepreneurs and business owners have a basic idea of a process within the startup growth and capital stages. The idea is for an entrepreneur to learn about those stages in business and then be able to work with our experts, our resource partners that do this every day. So it helps enhance the learning experiences for entrepreneurs and business owners. One unique aspect that we do have part of the SourceLink Nebraska platform is we've linked to Enlightened, which was created here at the Nebraska Business Development Center. It's essentially a video library of training videos for entrepreneurs and business owners and all sorts of topics. And Jamie will briefly give you a front-end tour of that as well. That tool also has videos that are delivered in the Spanish language. Next slide, please. So thank you. That's the basic overview, but I think what's important now is that we give you a visual of the website that will be going live on November 16th. Does anybody have any questions while Jamie's preparing?
I have a question, Scott. Jason Esser with OPPD. On one of the slides, it showed that partners can collaborate together. How does that SourceLink facilitate that collaboration?
Sure. So on each profile, and Jamie's going to show some examples of the profiles, not only is the organization listed, a description of what is done, but there's a contact to that organization along with social media information and everything. So that way, one resource partner could reach out to another one and know who they need to contact. Phone numbers available, all that great contact information. So you don't have to sift through a lot of information. It's all right there in one place for you to begin your networking.
All right, can you all see the website?
We're seeing the landing page.
Okay. So first we will look at the resource navigator that Scott discussed. You can either access that by scrolling down a little bit on the landing page or clicking on business resources here at the top.
Jamie, you may have to click out and re-enter. It's just showing the landing page. It's not showing the website.
Let me.
There we go.
There you go. I think I was on the join the network one, and then when I tried to switch screens, it did that. Okay, here's the main screen. And you can access the resource navigator either by scrolling down a little or clicking up here on the menu bar. Let that open. And this is a pretty basic search function. If you're used to searching databases of any sort, you can sort by location, zip code, city, state. You can put in a distance with a radius of 10 miles, 25 miles, 50 miles, or 100 miles. You can also select area of assistance, such as import-export assistance, and then a specific need within that area. Let's see.
One thing I want to point out too, in order to look through a specific need, you do need to select an area of assistance.
Then we'll go ahead and filter resources. Except I shouldn't have chosen import-export for Kimball because there's nothing within 100 miles. If I take that off, we should get a few that pop up in the eastern side of the state. The license and inspection portal at the state is a statewide resource, so that one pulls in. And then US Customs and Border Protection and another federal one. I'll go ahead and click into one of these resources so you can see what the profile looks like. There is just a short description and then the services they provide, as well as usually contact information. This one's not the best example because it's just a website. It doesn't have specific contact information. Let me click into a different one.
You may want to take off the zip code too. It's not pulling up everything without. There you go.
Right. And if we pick a specific need, it should show us resources that specialize in those areas. You can see here NBDC specializes in business plan consulting, development, and review. So those pull to the top of the list.
And everything that is searched, it'll go in alphabetical first, but if a resource partner identified that they provide a specialty service, the specialty services are pulled to the top of the list and then placed in alphabetical order.
So this one, you can see the contact information. Spencer is my contact here in the Panhandle, has his address, phone number, and email. And hopefully by next week when we launch, SourceLink will have this fixed. There should be a contact us button that brings up a short web form asking for name, email address, and then a question. And that's how people will contact the resource providers through these pages.
And Jason, to your question, that would be an excellent place to contact other resource partners. You could send a message through there as well.
And then resource partners such as yourselves can update your profiles from your profile page. You'll just click on this send the magic link button, and it will send you a link to log in and make changes to the description, contact information, and services.
And what's nice about that is you don't have to remember username or password. You just look for your profile that's on SourceLink Nebraska, and you can go in there and make all the changes that you need.
Also, I'm going to jump to some of our specialized navigators. We have certain resource partners tagged with different fields or industries that they specialize in. So we have a navigator focused on innovation and technology resources, one for maker spaces across the state, one for agriculture, childcare, veterans, international trade, Spanish-speaking resources, and disaster recovery. And I'll go into one of these to show you what it looks like. So it has resources specifically related to agriculture. And then at the bottom, it also pulls in the events that are for egg producers or those in a specific egg business. Then I also want to pull up the makerspace one just to showcase one of the other ways that the Navigator works. You can pull things up by map view. The makerspace one is a pretty good example because it highlights several locations across the state. Most of these are located in public libraries, though there are a few that are standalone entities. And then once you're on this map page, you can click on a specific resource and open it directly from there. Go back to the main screen. For resource partners, there's also a resource partner center. If you aren't part of the network already, you can join the network here. And then there's also a resource partner toolkit that has some program information with specific language that you can pull out for press releases or just general information. There is an entrepreneur and business owner fact sheet that you can hand out to your clients. Our social media links, a logo, and then a short video on how to submit an event to the event calendar.
Jamie, could you click into one of those logo links, please?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a resource partner that's listed on SourceLink Nebraska, and I know we've had questions from resource partners, hey, can we link to SourceLink Nebraska? Absolutely, please do. And if you would like, you can even use these images on your website as well to show that you're a resource partner with SourceLink Nebraska.
And let me now go to the event calendar. It's pretty straightforward, but if you have any trouble, you can watch that video. We've already, as Scott said, pre-filled the calendar with several events, but it's helpful if Resource partners are able to submit events on their own just so we don't miss anything. You just click submit your event here and then fill out the basic information. And then it comes to us on the back end to approve, where we can also make sure it's tagged so it shows up on those specialized Navigator pages if applicable. You can either scroll down through the whole list or look at the month view. Maybe. As you can see, we have quite a few in here already. Obviously, there aren't many the week of Thanksgiving, but most of the rest of the month is filled out pretty well. We're trying to gather events from around the state, both virtual and in person. We also have a few events in Spanish. Most of those are from the Center for Rural Affairs. And you can sort events by category, cost, venue, organizer, day, time, the city they're located in, or featured events. Then, as Scott said, we also have the business guides and the Enlightened virtual library. And to access Enlightened, people can just click here to see the list of courses available. And if there's anything they're interested in looking through, they have to enroll. Just fill out a basic registration form. But again, those are no cost. They just have to sign up so they can access that Canvas educational website. Then we also have the Startup Growth and Capital Guides, which just walk entrepreneurs and business owners through the basic steps. And again, we still hope to connect them with the expert resource partners. These just give them an idea of what they need to consider. Maybe if they aren't sure they want to start a business yet, this will give people an idea of all of the things they need to look at. Then back on our main page, we also have the business and resource partner spotlights here towards the bottom. And those highlight some of our small business success stories across the state, as well as resource partners so that entrepreneurs can read about what they do.
And then our founding partners, this would not be possible without our founding partners with OPPD, Peter Kiewit Foundation, University of Nebraska, IANR, Nebraska Extension, and NBDC. They've put the support behind this project, so it is possible. So we're deeply thankful that they were able to support us in creating this infrastructure for the ecosystem.
Does anyone have questions or want to see something specific on the website?
I have another question. On your events calendar page, is there anything that would tell you if that event was going to be live streamed or available via WebEx?
It depends on how they put in the information's put in there. So there's what happens is when these information's entered on here, there's a link to whatever if there's a registration page, all that great information. So trying to think of an example of one. Maybe that Wednesday, November 10th one, Jamie, can you click on that one, please? I know that one's virtual.
I did click into, if you click on venues, you can pull up virtual events.
Oh.
And that's what this list is.
Okay.
And some do in person and virtual. So it's always best to maybe go into, there, you know, when you push the register button, you can find out more. It really comes down to how that resource partner put in their information for it, but there are some required fields that need to be filled out.
Just a second, I'm answering some chat questions. So also, as Scott said, they could be virtual and in person. And I guess the route I've taken in that case is to put in the physical location so it shows up on the map. So you may have to click into some of those to see if there's a virtual option with them as well. Also, I think we probably need to streamline this a little bit because we have some that are listed under virtual and some under online event. So both of those would be available to watch from home. And then I wanted to pull up the Join the Network link for you all and just put that in the chat. And I think we decided, even if we already have you in the database, if we haven't worked with you to fill in your profile, go ahead and fill out this Join the Network link and we can merge it with the information we have just to make sure it's accurate. And Scott, do you want to answer Angie's question? She is asking how chambers can benefit their members by being part of the network.
Absolutely. So being part of the network, that way, anybody that's looking for the local chamber and who to contact, that way you're visible within the network. Sometimes it's not just about the local area. You know, I brought up the example of somebody from out of state, maybe thinking about coming to Nebraska, being able to have your chamber listed so somebody can see who to contact, where to go, maybe learn about what you do with your local chamber is very important.
And we've also—
Sorry, Jamie, the chat questions aren't showing up.
That's okay. This one she sent directly to me. We also have some chambers who have discussed putting a link to the Navigator directly on their website, so members can see it from there and have access to resources in their area. And I think we could also set it up to filter specifically to a certain city or region if you wanted it set up that way.
You guys mentioned that you're planning a November 16th launch. Does that mean the website isn't actually published and live until then?
Correct.
Right now, if you type in SourceLinkNebraska.com, you'll just get a landing page.
Okay.
You know, this will be an excellent tool for you as well when you're working with entrepreneurs or business owners and they ask you, you know, where should I go? Who should I talk to? You now have a tool on your desktop and you can refer them right from the desktop and send a message right to the organization saying, hey, this person would like to talk to you. They need to do this. So not only is it for the entrepreneurs and business owners, but it is a tool for our resource partners to help to serve the individuals that they're serving.
And as Scott mentioned in the earlier presentation, I think that's really important for economic developers as well. Here in Kimball, we've had 4 economic developers in the 11 years I've lived here, and it takes people time to get up to speed on what resources are available that they can access, as well as tell entrepreneurs who come in and ask them for guidance. And I think this is one way to help them get up to speed a little faster. I'm also going to post our social media links in the chat so you all have access to those. Any other questions?
I don't have a question, but I have a comment. It looks really great, you guys. I mean, I think this will really be helpful to us. It looks like a really good tool. So I appreciate the work you're doing and for letting us participate and learn more about it today.
Well, we appreciate your participation, and we do appreciate the support and the feedback. We do feel like we have a strong product right now, but as time evolves, it's gonna get even better, and it will be because of all the resource partners getting together, providing us with the feedback, so we know exactly what to do and how to get the information that people need to get the right resource at the right time.
Definitely feedback on anything we might be missing. We know there are probably particularly some chambers in small towns that we don't have in there yet, and we would like to make sure they're highlighted.
So next steps, if you'd like to, please go to our landing page. There is a button that says join the network. Click on that. It does not take a lot of time to fill out a resource profile. I know Jason just did one recently. We were able to test it and it worked out great. Jason, do you have any feedback on that as far as ease of use filling out a profile?
Oh yeah, it's super easy to do. It doesn't take very long, or you can take as long as you want, I guess, technically, but it's a easy, smooth working process. And Scott and his team are always open for questions too, so.
Any other questions?
If not,
This goes live on the 16th, right?
Yes, at 8 o'clock in the morning. It'll be ready to go. So we're very excited. This is something we're just so excited to unveil to everybody. We can't wait to hear the feedback from it, and especially a year from now, we really want to know if it has been a helpful tool, and we suspect it will be, but it's always great to hear from people that are using it in their everyday work.
Mm-hmm. And is there any issue with organizations that are not necessarily network providers or partners having a link on their website?
We have no problem with anybody. If they want to link to SourceLinkNebraska.com, that would be great. We do want to reach out to organizations. We want to work with bankers, because bankers are in contact with entrepreneurs and business owners. So we want them to be able to have a tool at their fingertips to know, hey, you should probably go talk to this person or this person. So we're going to be working with the libraries. Maybe it's an entrepreneur or business owner comes in and wants to, needs information. So we can work with the libraries so they can help navigate the process as well.
Have you reached out to the Nebraska Bankers Association?
Not yet.
well, we talked a little bit to Forrest Newberg, is that right?
Yeah.
And he said once we were launched, he would visit with us a little further to try to set up a meeting, because they are also one of those first line resources where entrepreneurs come in and may not be quite ready for funding if they haven't filled out some of those other steps yet.
Yeah, exactly. I just thought that'd be a great way to get SourceLink, in front of banks across the state.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty quickly.
Absolutely. Yeah, and if any resource partners want to work with us to have linked to SourceLinkNebraska.com, that would be amazing. We would love that. We'd be thrilled if resource partners put us as a link on their website as a tool for everybody. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and we're very excited to have this new tool for you to use. Please, if you haven't filled out, if you haven't worked with us yet to fill out a profile, please go to SourceLinkNebraska.com, click on join the network, and begin filling out your profile, and we'll see it on the back end, and we'll be able to approve it. And if we have any questions, we'll reach out to you individually if there's something we need some clarification on. When the website does go live, though, and your profile is viewable, you will be able to go in there and make edits as needed for yourself.
Thank you all for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.